Hello, and welcome back to Law Whores.
Welcome back.
It's been a hot minute.
Welcome back to the only podcast where we don't repeat topics.
Ever.
It's been so long. This is our first guest episode.
It is our first guest episode. We actually have someone very special with us.
Say hello, Eddie. He's a very quiet kitten.
Yeah, he meows sometimes if he wants something. But when he purrs loudly. For context, Eddie is a...
There he goes. He's...
Oh, no,
Don't stop the recording! Don't stop the recording! Oh, he's a little monkey.
He does enjoy the laptop. He does enjoy walking on the laptop, I will say. For context, this is Eddie. He is my 9-week...
Get off my fucking phone!
He's my 9-week-old ragdoll kitten. He's been home for about a week and a half now, and... So if you hear any crinkling, scrunkling, scratching, any cat-like sounds, that's what it is.
It is aloe, actually. But
yeah.
I've been having so much brain rot today. I'm still slightly hungover, I will say.
I can understand that. I didn't go drinking last night, but I did pick my mum up from a night out, and I think that gave me second-hand hangover.
Yeah. Oh, are you jumping down now?
It's got some athleticism to him.
Yeah.
For someone who's so small, he's very bold.
Yeah. How long has it been since we've recorded an episode?
I want to say at least a month.
It's been at least.
Because the last time we've actually recorded a few episodes during like, what the fuck is he doing?
He's tearing up the carpet.
No, the carpet's new.
Oh my god! I'm gonna.
Just pick him up. He can't stop you.
He's so small.
He is a one-handed pickup, by the way, boys. Nachdi, puppy. No.
Very adorable, but it is like handling a small child.
Funnily enough, he is a baby.
Oh, yeah.
He's very much toddler, and he's getting into everything, and I think it's worse than a toddler because he can climb.
Yeah.
Quite well.
I mean, he's scaled that like little cupboard like several times.
Yeah. He is great though. I love him very dearly, and like for a cat, he's got an amazing temperament. Like he's so laid back. He lets me do anything. Bath, cat carrier, getting like carted around, taken to the vet. He's so calm about everything.
Hell yeah. I mean, like, I'm not someone who particularly has had a lot of experience with cats, but like he's actually... Oh, he's being a bitch again. So yeah,
okay, he's learning. He's learning that he's not meant to do that.
Yeah, we're sat on the floor in Ala's room at the moment because we don't have anywhere really to record.
My floors downstairs, my parents' house, they are just tearing up the floors. There's just concrete there now. There's just no floor. It's just concrete. So my bedroom is the only place that is... Oh, Matt! He's gone...
It's like the only place that...
Come on!
Oh, this is the cat fucking episode.
It's the cat episode. Jesus Christ. And the thing is, the entire afternoon, right? We've spent the whole day here watching Twilight, having a chat. He has been so calm and quiet.
He's been
so
sleeping.
Well
Don't end the recording. Don't end the fucking recording. Don't put him on the bed. He can't go on the bed.
Well behaved and sleeping.
He loves tippy-tappy buttons.
As soon as we start recording, he's going everywhere he shouldn't be. Everywhere. In the wires, on the cupboard, under the bed, in the foil. I've had to foil wrap some boxes in my room because they're not cat safe. And yet he goes in.
Yeah.
So he might be a bastard, but he's my bastard.
Yeah, so there's been a bit of a delay, and we're kind of doing like a soft little reboot. that you'll notice we have music now. We have our own theme, which my very good friend Kathy.
Incredibly done. I am so sincerely impressed by like the work she's done and what she's put into it, because it fucking slaps, honestly.
Yeah, like she's like a student in filmmaking. We should have her on the episode at some point, because she also loves like on the podcast, because she loves she's like a massive nerd like me. I mean, that's how we got started like talking and everything.
I would love that very dearly. We do have so technical issues. We'd recorded a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it's been a while, simply because anything digital despises us.
June, July, we recorded a few episodes, but some of them just were not feasible to be put up because like something went wrong with them.
We are recording on a singular snowball microphone, which is the best thing we've got. It's kind of okay. Aloe doesn't have shit.
I've got the red one that I use, the red cabled one.
The little teeny one.
Yeah, the tiny one.
No,
I know.
It doesn't sound good. We change our microphone basically every episode.
Just to mix things up. I don't know if this one got put up, but the one where I was just recording straight into my phone mic.
I don't know if we did do that one.
Yeah, I have no idea if it's up.
Basically, we would have recorded, but technology hates us, and we can't do anything except be in the same room together and have it still work. Because you have internet problems, or like your microphone doesn't work, or like you can't hear, but the microphone does work, and it's like.
Yeah, I also, just for context, I live in the countryside, in a village. I think we're still working off of old copper wire systems. I think I've told you this before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not fiber optic. They say it is. It isn't. They haven't replaced anything, so the entire village has shit Wi-Fi. Did you hear that? Honk honk.
What the fuck?
It sounded like cartoonish. But yeah, so the Wi-Fi here is just generally terrible, and my parents. Christ.
Hello.
What are you doing? Who are you signaling?
Someone got a fat ass on the street. Like, what's going on? Are they getting catcalled?
In this neighborhood, probably. I've told you about my neighbor who's having the affair, right?
Oh, I don't know if you said it on the podcast, but
Well, one of my neighbors is having this affair.
It's a taxi.
Oh, that's more reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor's having an affair on his wife.
She's also having an affair, but
we think she's also having an affair on him. But this is also data that's been collected over the span of a year. No, maybe even 3 years.
3 years?
Because I think it was pre-pandemic. Oh, Eddie.
But yeah, the gist of it is that
we should set up a tally.
Yeah, the Eddie tally.
The Eddie tally.
This is the cat episode.
I've got my whiteboard on.
Oh, you're actually writing this?
I don't just make bits. I commit to them. If I can find a whiteboard marker, Christ.
Oh my god.
If I cannot find a whiteboard marker, bits cancelled. Sorry, bestie.
You're getting the audio, you're getting the audio experience of drawers opening and shutting and everything.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so your neighbor's having an affair. That was, didn't you, sneak into your garden and you heard him basically, jerking off, on the phone?
So I hate him, right? For context,
he's a cop as well. Yeah,
he's a cop.
Yeah.
He is a cop. Yeah. For context, my driving instructor was also a police officer, but he was really lovely. And we were talking about my neighbor, and he was like, "Hey, is that so and so?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, don't like him." And I was like, "Oh, is it because he's an alcoholic?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's because he's an alcoholic." And they knew on the force that when he was there, that he was driving in drunk to work.
Oh my God.
And they kept trying to set up random stops on his way in, but they never managed to catch him, so they could never prove anything.
Yeah.
So for context, he's for one, he's English, which is already a bad sign. For two, he shouts and he swears and he
just seems like he has a violent temperament.
He has
honestly.
a very violent temperament. He's had a lot of arguments with neighbors and stuff. He's quite belligerent and he swears at his wife and children. He's got 2 daughters who are in their teen years now, I'd say. Excuse me. And I remember once at a New Year's party, all the kids were in the conservatory, and he slammed himself into the conservatory, and he started belly dancing in front of me and the other girl that was next to me. We were I want to say like 11 at the time, shirt coming up and everything. It was horrifying. Another father had to come in and like drag him out. It was bleh. Yeah, he's an unpleasant man. He also has 3 dogs and they barely ever get walked. And he picks up their shit and throws it into the river behind our house. Or like in a bag into the field behind our house, which is owned by a farmer. And it's like deranged behaviour, right? So one evening, I think it was summer, pre-lockdown, my mum comes into my room. It's like 10 o'clock at night. The sun has like just gone down. And she says, "What are you doing? Come with me right now." So I do. And we go on to the landing. It's dark. We go into her bedroom. It's dark. She pulls me into the ensuite. It's dark. She says, "Stand up on the..." Oh my God, the cat's sitting on my Twilight books. He just got off, but he was just on top of it. He was on... Sorry, just to paint you a word picture. Yeah. He was lying on top of like the books on the bookshelf. Very delightful to see.
Yeah, also the fact that you own the Twilight books is indicative of who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like, didn't you like crawl through a window?
I did at one point, yeah. So she pulls me into the bathroom. She says, "Stand on the toilet and put your head up to the window. What do you hear?" And it's our neighbour, and he's in the bottom of the garden, like hiding from the floodlight. He's behind a shed, and he's like on the phone to someone. It's clearly a woman, and he's saying some very suggestive things. But it's also not that distinct because he like moves further away, like deeper into his garden, like further away from the window. So I say, "Okay, hang on," and I run downstairs, and I didn't want to open the door because obviously that would be very, very loud and the lights would come on. But the window was open, so I climbed on top of the sofa and I moved the window decoration out of the way, and I opened the window. I climbed out the window, and I like scuttled to the fence and downwards. So I could hear it clearer. I'm sounding like an absolute sociopath, but I promise. This is very normal behaviour. This is not weird, I promise. It's fine.
This is normal for your family, I will say.
Yeah.
Your mum is a little bit... Your mum shot me!
Yeah. First meeting, shot directly in the face. She knows how to make an impression, I'd say. But yeah, this man was just on the phone in his boxers in the dark of his garden at the end of like the garden in the shadow of the shed.
He was freaking jacking off.
Probably, like... talking about like, "Oh, you're gonna love it when I take your knickers off," and like this and this and that. And like what was worse is the fact that his wife was in the house recovering from like spine surgery.
Oh yeah.
Which makes it so much worse. That being said though, my mum did spot her a few weeks ago. Like her husband went into the house and she immediately shot down to the bottom of the garden behind the shed. And then she saw another neighbour of ours come over from the other side of like the garden to behind the shed as well. Very suspicious behaviour, if you ask me. And you are, so.
Just knickers is not a sexy word.
It is not.
It sounds like, as soon as you say that, you aged 30 years, I think.
And with his accent as well, like.
Oh, right,
it's like,
love.
I don't know what part of England it is. Oh, fuck that guy, honestly.
Yeah. Another reason that we've been so late in doing this, I've been moving house.
As have I, yeah.
You've been decorating and moving house.
You've been moving.
I've not been decorating. That's been you.
Yeah, you moved out and then you moved back in.
Yeah, to sum things up, don't eat my feet. What the fuck?
Yeah. I love the new cat. He's definitely gay though, and I think he might have a foot fetish, which is really sad.
Oh, don't.
It's disappointing.
I'm gonna edit that out.
I understand.
Oh. But yeah, I've been moving house, and like basically my previous contract like ended, like at the end of June, and my new contract started at the beginning of August, so I couldn't move into anywhere, so I've had to live with my family for a bit, and I've had to move twice effectively, which has been so fucking
nightmarish.
I've forgotten so many things. Like I forgot soy sauce. Scandalous.
Yeah. Eddie.
Get down here.
Scoot him, he keeps trying to eat my glasses.
Get here. Actually no. Get on the floor.
Yeah, get on the floor. I got him.
Get on the floor. But
also, as an aside,
yeah.
I did just say the woman's name. I realised I was just thinking back and I did say my neighbour's name, so we have to crop that out.
Oh, it's fine. I'll censor it.
We need a good censorship sound.
Yeah, I mean... yeah, we'll figure it out. This is the figuring out episode.
For sure.
Because I'm excited personally because, one, we have a bunch of ideas. We have a bunch of ideas for like
We've
just
been bubbling.
episodes,
Personally, I've been bubbling,
segments.
boiling over.
Get down, you.
One.
Sorry, I just shoved him over.
You just knocked over a baby.
It was funny.
An infant.
We have a bunch of ideas, and we also just are going to end up having a space where we can just record just all the time. Like
we're here today because I've got the cat with me, and I don't know how cat-proof your house is, and I don't want to bring a cat over.
We probably wouldn't be allowed with like my landlord.
And I'm not sneaking my cat into my accommodation until a little bit later in September.
Yeah.
But I will be.
I thought you were like negotiating with.
I was gonna negotiate with her in person, but then she sent me an email telling me how excited she is about the renovations and the new carpet, and I thought this isn't gonna happen. There's no way she's gonna say yes.
Alice landlord, don't listen to this. This is not for your ears.
Hope to God, if that's how I get done in.
Imagine. I mean, you can bribe her. You have enough money to bribe her.
Yeah. Oh, in
you have enough
related
money to...
consequence, I have also been selling a house. This is not me being like some kind of Tory scum landlord at the age of 23.
We are literally, yeah.
But like, this is gonna sound really grim when I say it like this, but my dad died. Don't worry about it, it's fine. But I also inherited like his estate and my grandfather's estate at the same time. So I have two houses in really shit condition that I have to like try and get rid of and sell.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot. It's been a lot, but
one
of them is
that
sold.
has also gotten in the way of like recording as well, because like,
oh my God, I get calls from like lawyers and the estate agent, and then my mum talking about the lawyer and the estate agent.
Your mum just like phones you like half the time just because she's bored.
She does do this. She's a nurse, and she's the one that like she's the type of nurse that drives to people's houses to do like their dressings and their bloods and whatever they need to do that, but they can't do because they can't like get to the hospital, or it's easier just to do home visits. So she has a lot of just driving time. Eddie, Tidona, come on, man. Eddie, don't start purring. You're in trouble.
A lot.
Sorry. So she has a lot of driving time, so she just phones me when she's bored, and then I'll be like, "What do you want? I'm busy." And she'd be like, "I can't believe you're taking that tone with me."
Yeah, I mean, we literally have uploaded like a couple of episodes which have been interrupted by solely your mother, like
just walking into the door. In all fairness, though, a lot of the time she just shows up. It's with like a pastry or something, so I can't be angry at her.
She didn't show up with a pastry during the podcast.
Did she not?
No.
She does it quite often. She will just show up with a pastry.
Well, that's not so bad.
A steak bake or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, the Shell garage.
Oh yeah.
They apparently have like a really nice like bakery
Thanks for
range.
doxing us, by the way.
the Shell garage in Censored.
I just did a little fart then.
Can't believe. First I dox us, then you
I shit myself.
shit yourself on podcast. A delightful audio experience.
Oh,
but yeah, they've got like a little bakery range thing that's apparently
ASMR
really
shit
nice.
yourself. Yeah.
ASMR shitting your pants on camera. Bestie, what are you doing?
Yeah, come here. What are we talking about today? We're talking about Twilight again.
We're talking about Twilight again. But this time,
I've watched the film. We just watched it. It's a
masterpiece. I stand by.
I've seen it before. But I saw it when I was much younger. And now, as a 21-year-old woman-man thing, I'm like, oh, it's so bad. It's actually much worse than I remember.
It's so good, though. It's so good because it's that.
It's the way that like they do like facial expressions, and it's like you can tell like a lot of these people have never acted before.
And that's good.
Yeah, it's like... It's an indie movie that's also extremely high quality in its visuals as well.
Yeah.
Except for the CGI, but we'll get onto that.
Wait, what CGI?
CGI?
They CGI'd in the first film.
What do you mean they CGI'd? Do you think that he ran that fast normally?
Oh, that! I was like, there's no wolves in the first film, because the wolves are all like fully CGI'd and the babies like CGI'd.
Visual effects.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Eddie... Get off my glasses! I'm
gonna throw this baby.
Please don't throw the baby.
He's gonna go like...
Let me find his slinky. Did you just hit the radiator?
That's what it... No, I threw him at it.
Let me get a slinky.
Yeah, so, Edward Cullen is such an awkward character. I didn't realise how much of a freak he was.
I can't find the slinky.
Oh my god.
I have to cut this. There's going to be a lot of crinkling sounds.
I think it's on the floor somewhere.
It's not over here, though, because I can't...
But yeah,
See it.
yeah, Edward's a freak. The way that he visually recoils from just seeing Bella for the first time is so funny.
He's a freak, and I
Like
love him.
he literally like is sat at the desk and he goes like, ugh. And it's like, and then
It's because she stinks. She's fucking rank.
yeah, because she stinks so much that he wants to eat her. Right, that's the gist of it, and he also can't read her mind.
Yeah, it's objectively fucking hilarious. Everything about the first Twilight film is amazing. So much. And the
You've
fact
already
that
talked about this. You've already talked about this.
I know,
This
but
is
he's
about
such
my
a freak.
experiences. This is my experiences, okay?
But he's so weird.
He's
is so weird.
Whenever he gets like mildly inconvenienced by like anyone, or if he gets interrupted, and he just walks away.
I'm calling it. He's definitely autistic.
And, like,
he has to be.
Yeah, on it, like, okay, like, Stephanie Meyer, that's who wrote the books, right?
Stephanie Meyer.
I don't think she thought about this book very deeply. She
Oh,
just had the
no.
hots for stalkers.
For sure.
But, hello, baby.
Baby, give me the slinky. Fun fact, the cat plays fetch. I'm very proud of him.
Oh, I've lost my train of thought.
She did not mean to write him a freak. She just wanted to date a stalker.
Yes, that was it. And as well as that, like, because, like, of the way that he acts, like, because there are other vampires in the film, obviously, and, like, there are other vampires, and they are very socially aware. Like, they are just, like, regular people a lot of the time, except for, like, the villain ones, I guess. So it is just kind of him being weird. Like, he is just kind of a weirdo.
He's neurodivergent.
Yeah.
He has to be.
I mean...
There's something wrong with him, and I mean that in the best and worst way.
Yeah, I mean, like, he doesn't know when to say things. He's constantly anxious. He's apologetic.
It's the fluorescence. Walks away. Need I say more?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a thing that isn't really touched on in, like, vampire or, like, hidden creature as humans kind of thing. They could just get away with, like, shitty excuses all the time, because who the fuck is going to believe that, like,
Absolutely.
they're actually, like...
Absolutely.
They have not sat down and had, like, a class of, like, oh, what should we say if someone, like, sees us do something? And it's, like, most of the time it would just be, like, oh, just walk away. What they're going to do? Say that we're a vampire?
Also, like, that being said, if you're living in a major metropolitan area as well, there's so many freaks that just, like, people are weird. People are weird, and in cities, people are weirder because you blend in more. And you just have weirdos in cities, and nobody questions it. They're just like, oh yeah, that's just that weird guy that lives down the road. Just don't make eye contact, and you'll be fine.
I mean, it's also kind of like they already have, like, a pretty good cover. Like, the Cullen family have, like, a pretty good cover for their weirdness, being that they seem to be on this... I mean, wasn't the other characters, like, saying, like, they were, like, an incestuous cult or something? Like, that was, like, what they were implying.
Incestuous, but, like, they are people in Forks definitely think that the Cullens are a cult. They all walk around with their family crests. The dad is, like, a weird matchmaker. They're super young. They're definitely... Well, everybody's, like, Mormon coded in this fucking piece of media. Like, people definitely think that they're a cult. Nobody has a family crest, and nobody walks around wearing it all the time. And nobody's dating their, like, adopted sibling.
Yeah, and also, whilst they are socially aware, like, they are weird. Like, they always show up together. They always
like, hang out. They don't eat at lunchtime. They only sit together. They don't talk to anybody. They're weird. And, like, I said this while we were watching it. Kal-El Cullen is, but canonically British. That's a weird statement. He's canonically British. He's implied,
you can't change it.
He's implied to be British. It's a great, like, win for diversity. But he is British, and I feel like if he just kept his English accent, they just had him be English, and then someone was like, oh, you guys are a bit weird, aren't you? And it's like, oh yeah, it's an English thing, like, don't worry, it's just culturally different. And nobody questioned it because Americans have, like, that strange concept of Britain being, like, a completely different place, because it is. It is culturally, we're completely different. Not completely, but there's a lot of culture differences, and you can get away with it, especially in 2005, where there is not that much access to what British culture is actually like.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, I mean, even nowadays in, like, this information era, like, you could argue that every sort of, like, perception of, like, a different culture is through, like, it's through a lens. Like,
exactly.
But I do find it funny how his accent has just, like, changed over time. Or if he's doing it deliberately.
Maybe. Because their whole thing is that, oh, we're from Alaska, and then when they're in Alaska, it's, oh, we're from Washington. So maybe it's easier to keep the American accent.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I didn't know
Also,
that they actually did that.
you would definitely have like questions about like visa and immigration and stuff, and like, oh, you have to be in a country for a certain amount of time, doing a certain amount of things. How did you even get to adopt? So that could have been like, and then everybody else would have to fake a British accent. That would be funny, actually. I would like to see that.
Like them doing the thing of like they've always been there kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're just pretending they're cosplaying as Americans.
I mean, they kind of are. Like,
I mean, the rest of them are. They are American. But I like the idea of Carlo cosplaying as American just to make things less of a hassle with the concept of immigration.
I don't remember.
The dad. The one, the doctor.
The one that looks like a vampire.
He very much looks like a vampire. But yeah, like so many vampire-related things could just be explained away by, oh yeah, I'm anemic. Oh yeah, I'm British. I don't really get a lot of sun.
They could even go so far as to say like, oh, the like partly like albino or something, and it's like
photosensitivity.
Yeah, and like I mean that's not a real thing, but like people aren't going to question that. Like
especially like pre like ease of access Google, the cat just face slammed the post. He did a leap, but he did not hit.
Eddie, what the fuck?
He recovered though.
Yeah.
Proud of him.
Long story short, it's the weirdest teen romance ever.
Oh yeah.
Bella gets bitten by a vampire that has the hots for her blood, and to save her,
does. She's so tasty.
Yeah, everyone wants.
Snack.
It's pretty gay, honestly.
The homoeroticism of vampires will never end.
But yeah, to save her, Edward sucks the venom out, which. What?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I've literally just watched this movie, and yet I feel like I have not absorbed. Like I've absorbed all of it, and I remember lots of scenes visually, but like the only thing I care about is Bella's dad.
We see. Everybody loves Charlie.
Like he's
in this house where Charlie Swan stands first, human being second.
Like he's such a minor character, but he's also just. Again, the bar is low for men, I get it, but, like, he's just a good dad.
Yeah.
And, like, he treats everything healthily, and, like, yeah, sure, he's a cop, he's the chief of police, but he's a good dad.
He's a good dad.
And that's all I have to say on him, really.
I just think he's neat. Esty, get out the foil. Eddie. Come on.
Yeah, Taylor Lautner was in this, which was very...
The wig
funny,
they put him in.
Yeah, it was a funny little wig.
Mr. Sharkboy and Lava Girl was in there.
Oh my god, he was, yeah.
Yeah, he's only played in really weird... I've literally only ever seen him in Sharkboy and Lava Girl, Twilight, and Season 2 of Scream Queens.
He was also in that Greg Davies TV show that I was telling you about, where he plays a cult survivor who's been adopted by this family.
I like the idea that Taylor Lautner and Robert Pattinson have both
been to
Twilight, and they said, actually, I'm only going to play freaks now.
I would fucking... Could you imagine, like, Taylor Lautner becomes, like, the new, like, Robin or something in the Batman series?
That would actually be hilarious.
That would be so fucking
That would be
good.
so good.
But
So this is my adopted son, he's 11, and Taylor Lautner's there, fucking jacked. I think it would be funny.
But, like, I don't know shit about, like, DC or, like, Batman and Robin in general, but, like, I think it'd be fun to...
There's some... Actually, yeah, the Red Wing, I think, Jason. I think he'd make a good Jason.
I've no clue what we're talking about. I just think it'd be fun if, like, the whole Batman and Robin dynamic was like, oh, you're just, like, a bestie who, like, also fights crime, and you're, like, the same age as me, and he's like, yeah. And, like...
I think that would be very fun.
Literally...
Taylor Lautner for Superman. 2023. I want to see it.
You know what? Yeah, because
like the Robins are all his kid. Like he keeps adopting these children.
Batman is kind of like the biggest adopted parent, which I think is quite sweet for
the
like
fact
his
that he's
background.
just like one of his best like known characteristics is dad is incredible to me.
He's being a billionaire and having children that have been through trauma, and he adopts.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
One thing I will say about the whole Taylor Lautner Superman, I do like that idea, but I do think part of the Superman character is that he is the idea of like a white American guy.
Homegrown, yeah.
Yeah, but also the fact that like he is the antithesis of being the opposite of a bigot in that sense. Like, because
he's literally an alien.
Yeah, canonically designed by Jewish writers and designers, and I think is Jewish potentially. I might be wrong about that, but like sort of like I know there have been multiple like comic panel strips where like he has like basically encountered like racists or what have you and
he just crushes them like a tin can.
Well, not even that, but like them going like, Superman, like blah blah blah. Don't you like basically thinking that they'll naturally be on his side?
Yeah, because he is like the Aryan sort of.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes, "No, freak. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Where's your slinky, baby? He lost his slinky.
Oh, it keeps him occupied.
I think he's lost it. Where's it? Oh, we got it.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot. I do know that like.
I know that in 2004, they introduced like pink kryptonite, which turns him gay.
Yeah.
2004, but like 2003 is when Robinson stopped putting out the Gollywog pins with their Jam Jazz. So.
That late?
Yeah, that late. Yeah, bestie.
Oh my god.
I love being a historian because it means I get to hold in some really devastating facts and drop them in conversation.
Yeah, no, like literally my dad used to like collect those like Jam Jar labels and stuff like that.
I found some Gollywog statuettes and stuff when I was emptying out my dad's house. There was some in the attic with my grandparents'
Didn't you used to work in like a pub that was also
yes. Oh my god.
That had like a Gollywog kind of like
yeah,
aesthetic.
I'm not gonna name
it was an
the pub. But the name itself is incredibly questionable.
Yeah.
And I remember because it was in lockdown and I couldn't go outside because I'm critically vulnerable, I think. So I'm on the high risk. I'm literally not allowed to do anything when we're in a lockdown. I have to stay inside. I'm just so fragile. And the Black Lives Matter protest for that town went like straight through that.
Oh.
It was, yeah, I saw like the pictures and stuff, and I think my mum might have been staying in like their hotel rooms at the time because she's a nurse, so she had to isolate from me as my stepdad who was also like critically vulnerable. So she was like staying there like free of charge, and she sent me like pictures and stuff, and like in all fairness, oh god no, it was strange. No, mum wasn't there at the time, and I think the rest like the place had actually reopened recently. Because this was at the wind down of COVID by the time Black Lives Matter protest reached the UK. And, like, a lot of staff, in all fairness, I think, did go outside, like, respectfully.
Yeah.
But, like, the fact that it was happening...
Like, standing outside of this, like, didn't they literally have, like that classic sort of, like, pub sign of,
yeah, there's a classic pub sign, and it's very, very questionable. It's literally, like, drawn black with, like, white lines, you know? Actually, I think I might still have... No, I just cleared out my wardrobe. I don't have the uniform anymore. I'd show you.
You have a racist uniform?
Not anymore.
Oh my
I also,
God.
like, it was literally the only job I could get as, like, a 16-year-old.
See, like, from what you were telling me, they were trying to, like, reform it as, like,
yes.
a sort of, like, rather than it being, like, a, here's this blatant, racist pub. Yeah. It was kind of like, oh, here's, like, the history of said thing.
They did have,
but
like, a
at the
sign.
same time, they also did have a statue of a small black child with, like, next to a monkey.
They were wearing like the same outfit, and they were both holding the little chimney sweep. It's fucked up. It was incredibly. It was. And my experiences working there. Also, it was definitely haunted, but that's a different topic for a different time.
Wait, what?
Pub's like 500 years old. Definitely haunted. Saw some ghosts. Fact.
Good. Right.
Yeah, because I would work breakfast shifts. I'd be in there like 6:30 in the morning. I'd be like setting up. And you know when you just see a shape? Like someone's just standing there, and then you turn and then it's gone?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Girly.
I mean, that might be something I need to, like, talk about someone with. But,
are you haunted?
Are you haunted, or am I...
Neurodivergent?
I don't think it's the neurodivergency. I think it's a little bit more...
Probably, yeah.
For context, I believe I am neurodivergent, based on things my therapist and like other neurodivergent people have said. Doesn't mean I am, but just to sort of clarify before I start making comments about mental health and what have you.
But yeah, I definitely saw a ghost a few times there. In like a few different spots, but in the same like
Do you believe in ghosts?
Room. Definitely. I don't think a ghost could do anything. Like, I've got a strong opinion on ghosts, and that like they're definitely there. But like the idea that a ghost could beat me in a fight is kind of funny because no, but the idea is that ghosts are like beings of pure energy running on like emotion and like trauma and whatever. And like, oh, they had a traumatic death, so they're full of energy, so they're really angry or they're really sad. So they've got all this energy, they could do anything. Yeah, but you're dead. I'm alive, and I definitely am feeling more emotions than you, and I think I'd win. You know what I mean?
You'd out bitch them.
I'm just saying, I think I'm volatile enough that I could... Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've got more volatility in me than someone that's dead.
So you're basically saying I could take them.
Yeah. Like, okay, if it picked up a table and threw a table at me, okay, yeah, I'd probably bruise. That wouldn't be great. But, like...
Yeah, you couldn't take a table, but...
No, but, like, oh, it's going to pick up a table. What if I just catch the table? Do you know what I mean?
It depends what kind of table it is.
Oh, yeah, it depends what kind of table it is. But, like, there is a ghost now, and the ghost is like, oh, I'm going to haunt you. I'm like, okay. And what? How much energy can something that is dead and existing purely on the energy, on the remnants of emotions, how much energy can that actually muster compared to me with a bat, you know?
This is the most insane take on ghosts.
I feel very strongly on it.
I don't believe in ghosts.
There's got to be something there.
I mean, I am but a simple mortal human being, so I would not know. I mean, if a ghost showed up and was like, "Sup, I'm your roommate," I'd be like, "Okay, probably there." But like, I mean, it's kind of like my stance on religion. It's like I don't necessarily believe that there is a conscious creator of anything.
Yeah.
Like
things are too random and weird.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a domino effect that is like spanned like billions and billions and billions of like different directions, and like every little event of every movement of everything leads to whatever we're doing now.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes human form, and that's why I don't think that a ghost exists in like a human form. Maybe I don't think if something akin to a ghost exists, I don't think that it would be able to be detected or manifested in any sort of way that is like meaningful in like fiction, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean. I do kind of agree, and that's what I mean by saying like, oh, if there was a ghost, I don't think it could do anything against me. I don't think it has that level of consciousness or focus or like sheer energy that it would require to do anything to me meaningfully.
Yeah, I mean, I also kind of just believe that our brains are so shit that they make people see things all the time. Like, I mean, I literally like see like the fringe of my hair, and like and I turn my head and like I look to the side and I think, oh, someone's run past the window, and I go, ooh, and I go, no, it's not, it's my hair.
Yeah.
I've been living alone for a bit.
Yeah.
The paranoia has set in.
Oh, I hate it when that happens. This literally, oh, Bappy, big sneeze.
Yeah, people should be moving in soon though, so that's good.
Exciting.
Yeah, new place, new people. They all seem lovely, so that's good.
That's a win. Twilight. Back to Twilight.
Do we have anything more to say on Twilight?
Do you have anything more to say?
I mean, I think the visual effects are silly. I think
the zoomed up like.
It's like for the Resident Evil fans out there, it's like the Albert Wesker kind of fucking numing about kind of visual effects. But worse, which is
2008 was fun, I think.
Yeah, I mean the Resident Evil game that did that I think was 2007 maybe. So
they have that in common at least.
Up your game, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Like Twilight is not something I particularly care about as a franchise. Like I like to study it, and like I think that I say study it like that means anything, but like it's daft.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that it was caused by 9/11 ultimately is very funny.
It really is. For context, in case you guys didn't pick it up last episode, the pipeline is...
Last episode? Was that last episode?
The last Twilight episode. Let's call it that.
9/11 happened, Jared Way made My Chemical Romance.
Stephanie Meyer has her weird sex dream in the meadow about Gerard Way. Right? Twilight inspired by the meadow scene. Etc, etc.
Twilight becomes a thing. 50 Shades of Grey happens.
Oh, the fan fiction and then 50 Shades of Grey, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, and then Anastasia, whatever her name is, the actress from 50 Shades of Grey, just fucking verbally destroys Ellen on her show, which leads to Ellen's downfall. Did you know about that?
I did know about that.
It's hilarious. Where she's like, you didn't invite me to your birthday, and she was there. She was like, I did Eddie. Aye. He's learning. She was like, I did invite you to my birthday, you didn't come. And she's like, no, you didn't invite me. And then she's like, ask your producer. And then she does, and the producer's like, yeah, she invited you. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And then, like, everybody started calling her out, and then everything collapsed. Hilarious. I think Jojo Siwa is now, like, rising because, like, from her ashes, I think, personally.
Jojo Siwa?
Yeah, the trade...
Why is she in this?
Oh, there was, like, massive memes coming online at the same time where it's like, oh, as Ellen DeGeneres' reign dies, Jojo Siwa's reign begins, in terms of, oh, this is the next generation of, like, upbeat, blonde, popular lesbian.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I don't know anything about Jojo Siwa. I don't know anything about people. Speaking
Dance Moms. She was on Dance Moms. And Nickelodeon. And as soon as she came out as gay, Nickelodeon, like, took her off of everything.
Ooh.
Cancelled a bunch of things. She was meant to host the Kids' Teen Choice Awards, and then as soon as she came out, I'm pretty sure they, like, cancelled her booking.
Oh, we love it.
We love to see it.
We love how they've bastardized SpongeBob as well.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Sick and twisted.
Speaking of, like, bullying celebrities, the Taylor Swift thing.
Oh my god, her jet plane aeroplane bullshit. Dropping 1 billion tons of CO2 to go get a fucking macchiato from a Starbucks.
The thing is, like, she's not the only person that does it, but it's the fact that everyone's targeted her and, like, just bullied her for it. Like, also the fact that it's working. Because, like, well, it's working in the sense of, like...
raising awareness for the fact that celebrities are just doing this.
Well, yeah, but also, like, it's had, like, an actual effect on her because, like, she's been, like, seen, like, hiding her face from, like, cameras and stuff coming off of her plane. And it's just like, bullying works, people.
We should, I'm just saying, as a society, I think we should bully people more.
I agree. I think we should, honestly, I think it's about time we've had a revolution. Why have we had Tory leadership for about 8 years now?
Oh my god.
No, longer than 8 years.
Yeah.
It's been longer than 8 years.
It shouldn't be that long. Like, I feel like that shouldn't be allowed. David fucking Cameron, it all started with him. It all started with him. Nick Clegg was before him, I think. Oh my god, my leg fell asleep. Oh my god. Sorry, excuse me for a second. Oh my god.
I have nothing to add to that.
Oh god. Yeah, David Cameron, he said, I'm going to do Brexit, and then everybody said, yeah, we'll do Brexit with you, and then as soon as everybody agreed, he went, like, oh god, you were serious? And then he left.
He was like, I'm out.
Cunt.
Yeah.
Oh god. You know when your leg falls asleep and then it starts to wake up and it's just unbearable?
Well, the good thing is that now that your leg's asleep, you can't move, you can't run away. And I gotta take you to our new job.
Oh, okay. I love to be employed again, thanks.
Oh, I hate being employed, but god. I need money to live. We're working with a new special company, a new segment, if you will, called the Multiverse Media Share.
The Multiverse Media Share. I would love to hear more about it.
So, I don't have an intro for this because I've not written anything, but gist of it is, we live in this universe, right? But there's only so many things to do here, right? There's only so much content.
So limited.
But what if we looked into different places? So we have been tasked with looking into alternate realities where things are similar media kind of things. We can make our own spin-offs.
Yes.
Without infringing copyright or anything like that, because it's not in our universe.
Big fan.
And so the first one is, and this is an idea that I've had for a very long time, and one that I've talked about my partner with a little bit as well.
Oh, you've been brainstorming with Rhett?
Oh, yes, I have. It's kind of, I just want this to exist. The Magnus Archives.
Okay.
As an office-style sitcom.
Yes, I would kill for that. The Tumblr and the AO3 girlies have already put in a good amount of groundwork to see what that would be like.
Oh, yeah.
And even in terms of, like, it not being an office comedy-based centric, like, piece of fiction, fan fiction, whatever they are creating, they still have the elements in there because it's fucking hilarious. Yes.
Like, specifically, like, you could even keep it in canon as well, because you could do it, like, before the events of season 1.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you could just have everyone in the office. So you could, obviously, you'd have John, you'd have Martin, you'd have Elias, Sasha, Tim. That's all of them? All the main, like, cast, I guess?
In season 1, yeah.
You could add new characters as well if you wanted to.
Just pour, like, library staff 1, 2, 5.
Yeah, but it's just, like, you could do so much. I mean, like...
It would be so good.
Supernatural comedy is already shown to have worked with, like, stuff like What We Do in the Shadows.
I would love for it to be based in, like, it's shot in a similar style to, like, What We Do in the Shadows. You know, The Office-esque, but, like, a better, queerer, What We Do in the Shadows-esque take on it. Talking Heads. The Talking Heads for the archive crew would be so good. And also, fun fact, I fully believe that Elias has eye shine anytime he looks anywhere near the camera.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is one of my ideas for it, is that Elias, whenever... Like, you know how, like, in The Office, like, they kind of, like, look to the camera kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, like, often, like, the small distance kind of thing. I feel like Elias should be the only one to do that. Because he's the only one that knows they're being watched. Because
that's good. So it's not like an in-world documentary. It's just like a yeah.
No. This is the eye doing its thing because it's perceiving all of them.
Obsessed. So it's not set up like What We Do in the Shadows, where they're aware that there's a documentary crew.
Yeah, no one knows.
That's good. I like that. That's good.
And like, and like there'd be like so many times where characters would like look off and like actually see the cameras and go like. And then, like, Eliza would go, what are you looking at? And then, like, what?
And then it just pans over to, like, a painting with the eyes of a painting. Ooh. Or an ID card.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know the Magnus Institute is rife with, like, eye iconography. Very good.
I feel like John would be like, ha! Thing's watching us. Couldn't believe it. And then, like, he sips his coffee, walks past, and the painting's eyes move to look at him.
Yes. He will... There's a lot of clips of John being like, that's fucking ridiculous. Sorry, that is absolutely absurd. Ridiculous.
That's absolutely absurd.
There it is. That's the one. I can't be hitting that Cambridge town. I can't do it. Can't hit that enunciation. But he'd be like denouncing things and walks into the office. Immediately as soon as the door closes, he's just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Sweating bullets, shaking.
Oh, I know.
Crying.
I feel like. Okay, right, let's think about, like, character tropes here. I feel like John should never shit himself because it kind of goes against his whole, like, character, like, up until season 1. I feel like Martin should be the paranoid one that's shitting himself constantly. He's like...
Well, that being said, though, John and Tim are the only ones that actually know the supernatural is real.
No... Oh... No, sorry, I thought you were meaning Martin and Tim. Yeah, John and Tim, yeah. Cause
the only ones that actually know the supernatural is real. Sasha and Martin are just there. Like, Martin just needs a job to pay the bills.
Honestly, I do like how one of the things that he's worrying about the most...
CV. His fake CV.
He lied on his CV.
There should definitely be, like, a clip of, like, Elias. Elias is the only one that does the talking heads. He'll just be sitting in his office talking to the camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is very good. He'd be like, oh yeah, obviously I know that Martin's lied on his CV. Duh. And he's there, like, actively shredding his fake CV.
Yeah.
Does not matter to me. I've got bigger things going on.
Yeah.
Incredible. Sasha is the one... the usual tropes that have been built up in fandom already is that Sasha is, like, the gossip.
Oh, Sasha is absolutely gossip, and she's also...
hacking the crimes.
I feel like also she'd probably be the most, like, socially active one.
I was just going to say,
like,
I think she runs the archive social media. She's in charge of the archive Twitter. And she just posts...
They have a Twitter page.
They've got a Twitter account, and she just posts clips of, like, wax... there's definitely a no-context Magnus Archives where she just posts, like, sentences or paragraphs from statements that are absolutely fucking wacko, fucking insane.
I've got an idea. Sasha is, like, on her phone, like, during a break, and then, like, Elias does this thing of, like, just walking up behind people and going, hello, and goes, oh, shit, what the fuck? And then, like, he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just on Twitter. It's like, and this Victorian man is just like, Twitter?
Birds?
Twitter.
You're an avid bird watcher, I see. A fan of jizzing in the woods, I see. God. Yeah, fun fact. The word for spotting a bird and immediately knowing what that bird is and immediately identifying the species is to jizz. You're welcome. I love to educate.
But
I love to educate.
She would be on Twitter and he would ask, what's Twitter? on your little telephone device, and she'd be like, oh, it's like this like communication like platform where like you can post things, like you can post information, and like you can link with your friends, see what your friends are up to, and
a lot
like
of people
you
just
can
post
like
about their private lives.
post about your private life. It's like, oh,
really?
So it's like, oh, you can just perceive lots of people.
Interesting way of saying it, but yeah.
yeah. It's like, and then like he invests in buying a smartphone. He buys the shittiest one ever.
I thought you were going to say he's going to invest in Twitter. Calling up Peter Lucas gets them stonks.
That's the story arc of the episode. Is he gradually like gets more and more like followers on Twitter and what have you.
Yeah.
And like he gets Martin to set it up for him.
Yeah.
Because Martin is going to be the absolute pushover of this cast.
He is the one that gets pulled aside. Sorry, but I don't understand technology. I need a hand.
Martin, could you help me?
Martin, I've forgotten my password again.
Martin, it's like what like.
Martin, why are there single women in my area? What do they want with me?
Martin, it says there are single women in my area, but I can't see any of them. What is? Oh, it's just a scam. A scam.
A scam, you say? To receive private information.
And then casually like Tim would go like, ha, look at this funny meme, and like he'd look at the funny meme and they'd go like, yeah, this person's been like, there's a lot of Twitter discourse at the moment, and like this person ended up getting doxxed. And he's like, what's doxing? And then like to the camera he's gone like, I found my new favorite thing.
New hobby for the 21st century.
Yeah,
I think that would be very good, actually.
Elias Bouchard being introduced to Twitter, like, he also finds out there are other social media platforms.
Oh my god, Facebook.
And like he is just on them constantly,
Instagram.
and like switching between them. He makes stories.
He's actually got like 4 different smartphones. He's got 4 shitty smartphones. They're constantly plugged in to.
Yeah.
They've got like, it's a standing upright dock, right, with a plug in. So they're all plugged in. They don't go out of battery. And they're like around him. It's like a gamer setup, but worse. And he's just scrolling on like all 4 of them, on all like the 4 major media platforms or what have you. I just think it would be really funny. Oh my god, that would be so good. Oh my god.
It's also the fact that you could start like peppering in like characters like gradually as well.
Oh yeah.
And like one of the things that I think would be like really good, like if the series like continued, would be like slowly transitioning into like the actual timeline of the main series.
Yeah.
But like having like the comedic like spin on it of like I don't know if you heard, but like there was it wasn't a charity thing, it was kind of like a celebratory event. They did it in front of a live audience where like they recorded a little spoof episode, which was
this dog loose in the archives.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and Martin's just like, dog.
You haven't seen a dog anywhere, have you? You haven't seen a dog, have you?
And he's like, what?
No, it was literally, have you seen a dog? What, like in general? That's the line, and that kills me. Have you seen a dog? Do you mean like generally? And that's how you know they're idiot for idiot.
Yeah, oh, I love them so much. I do love how John develops, but I do love John as a bitch.
He is the world's biggest bitch, and I respect him so much for that.
Oh, I don't respect him. You could like.
Oh, if I met him in real life, I would drown him like a rat.
John seems like a Tory in real life.
Oh my god, yeah.
Or maybe he's not. No. He's like actually I'm Lib Dem because I think that both right wing and left wing politics.
He's got a pamphlet in his pocket to prove. Oh, hello. He woke up from his nap.
Oh, I was wondering where he was.
Oh, he was passed out on the floor, literally just slonked. But yeah, I also like the idea that...
he's sleeping on my feet now.
He's obsessed with your feet.
He does love my feet ever so much.
I love the idea that they would pepper in the fact that, like, the common fan theory, like not fan theory, there's no theory to it, just, like, the common fan interpretation is that, like, Jonathan Sims, the archivist, was also Johnny Sims, Johnny DeVille, the musician, who is also Jonathan Sims, the writer.
Yes, yeah.
So, like, the mechanism's like, well, it's like, oh, his emo band in uni kind of vibe.
Oh,
and I love the idea of that being, like, one of the background things, especially on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially because Basira is one of the musicians from the mechanism. She plays Ashes O'Reilly. And Nicola Orson of The Puppet Woman
Oh, yeah.
of the circuit plays the toy soldier in the mechanisms. There's also someone called Tim, Gunpowder Tim, but it's not the same Tim as this Tim.
Yeah.
Which I think would be funny as well. I feel like that would be fun to sort of like pleat in. That's not in English.
No, it's not.
It's not. Yeah, weave in. That's the one.
Yeah. Like, ooh, like what if like Martin, like he has a Tumblr account, right? He has a Tumblr account. I mean, look.
Martin puts haikus on Twitter.
Exactly. Like Martin puts his poetry on Tumblr and Twitter, and then like John finds out and he's like really embarrassed. It's like, oh, well, it's just a little thing. It's like, oh, don't worry, I have a band. And he's and
I used to have a band.
And he's like, what, really? And he's
like classical.
Yeah, yes, it was quite good actually.
And Martin's just there like, oh, okay, they probably had like a few guys, you know, like you know, like traditional cringe, like, oh, he probably. The idea that Jonathan Sims, the archivist, was in a like gay space cabaret, murdering violent pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he tries so hard to put on the like professional man persona.
Yeah. And I also think that like Martin would nervously lie about how good it is. Like obviously it wouldn't be the mechanisms, like the actual band, but like John's band in this like sitcom would have been like a really shitty kind of like maybe like an interpretive like,
oh my god,
like very something that just is so pretentious music wise that like and he thinks it's so clever and smart, and Martin, who's nervous, lies about it, and it gets to John's head, and he starts eventually like building up, and it plays around. He starts playing it around like the institute.
I can't handle the idea of that. That being said, though, I love the idea of it being the mechanisms, specifically because if Basira shows up, like, I need to arrest the archivist, and it's just John, her old bandmate, who is now in tweed for some reason instead of leather, she'd be like, yeah, you've been body swapped, that's not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I also especially love the idea that Nicola Orsanov, the puppet woman, cosplayed as a person for a while to get in the band.
Just like just skin suit.
Kinda, yeah. I love the idea that this weird person that they had in the band that plays the toy soldier, who is like a mechanism, a machine, is actually just like a machine, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like this puppet boy in the band is a puppet boy in real life and has been a monster the whole time. And that John, who is paranoid about the supernatural but trying not to show it, didn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really funny.
I think that something that should happen is that, well, you know how, spoilers for the Magnus Archives, Sasha dies, kind of. She gets her body like replaced and twisted by something, and she becomes not Sasha.
Yeah,
I think that just before that happens, she should come across the body of Gertrude, and like throughout the entire episode, she is not able to tell anyone because she keeps on getting interrupted, and she just kind of like opens the door of like, I'm just gonna. This is like down to artifact storage. It's like, oh, this is a different place, okay. And then she opens the door and like Gertrude's body is there, and she's just like, ooh,
close that and leave.
And she's like, shit, and then she's like going up there, and then like she tries to get out, like, hey guys, and it's like, not now, Sasha, we're dealing with my band. We're talking about my band here.
God. That being said, though, I feel like he would never confess. He would never. Jonathan Sims of the professional office man would never ever confess the fact that he did music because it's too unprofessional.
Oh, see, I think that he would, but he would just be so pretentious about it, and then Martin eventually sort of says like he eventually finds out that no one actually does like it, and he gets in a big strop about it.
That's so sad.
It's like, it is like
so sad.
Right. And
I have seen people throw around the concept before of like John was in the mechanisms, but you know, it's been a few years now because they've all like left uni and stuff. And you know, it was a great time. Super not fitting in with his professional image. And then someone in the archives is a Mex fan and is like playing it, and the topic comes up and they're like, oh yeah, like this like really funky like weird band, it's really good, but this is the band. And everybody's like, wow, really good. And Jonathan Sims is sitting there sweating bullets, thinking he's about to get discovered. And then everybody's like, wow.
It sounds a lot like John, doesn't it?
Wow, sounds kind of similar to John.
He'd never do music,
but
though.
this would never be. I feel like Jonathan Sims would hear music and he'd probably like shrivel up. Jonathan Sims seems allergic to music, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Sims is nervously shoving his harmonica back into his pocket.
Mm-hmm. Also, again, this kind of rewrites the whole concept of the entire thing, because, like, obviously having a sitcom about them working in the archives is, like, very fun as an idea. I think, like a university AU, where, like, they were all, like, learning their respective degrees would be fun as well. And I'm only mentioning that because, what do you think each of them would do? John would obviously do, like, English literature with history.
Yes. Martin actually isn't studying a degree. I think he works in the library to, like, make ends meet, but he's managed to, like, gatekeep girl boss his way into classes.
Oh, see, I don't think that's that. I think Martin's just straight up a theatre kid.
Those are the classes he's breaking into.
Yeah. Like, maybe his shitty mum was like, oh, that's not, like, a real degree kind of thing, and he's like, I'll just work at the uni then, and then he ends up doing, like, theatre classes.
I think that would be good.
Well, Tim, criminology.
He's in printing, like, that's his job before he gets into the Magnus Institute. He's in publishing.
Oh, okay.
So it might even be English, honestly.
Maybe like law or like criminology or
I
something.
think
he
might minor in criminology, especially for considering, like, if this is before or after his brother.
Sasha absolutely does
journalism.
History.
Oh, or history.
Yeah, no, because she's Artifact.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I feel like she'd just do, like, hardcore, like, history. Elias didn't...
He's the dean. I don't know if we have deans in the UK.
He's the head.
He's the head of the university.
Yeah, he's the head of the...
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, I didn't send him, don't worry.
He's okay. He's still just sad.
Yeah.
Poor. I can't believe he betrayed me.
He's just having a cozy old time next to me.
Fucking degenerate. Can't believe.
Next to his auntie.
Slipbog.
That was Multiverse Media Share.
I had a great time. I love an AU. I'm a slut for an AU.
Yeah.
You know I enjoy an AU.
I mean, that's why I wanted to do it. So I know you'd love it. I love that kind of thing. If you have any ideas for future ones... Oh, dear.
Yeah.
I have one more idea, but I also kind of want to watch a particular film with you before we do that.
All right, okay.
But yeah, I think we're going to end the episode there, because, like... We've been talking for an hour.
This was meant to be a Twilight episode, but honestly...
I mean, we've already talked about this so much.
There was not enough to be said.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like...
Especially with just the first film.
I mean, a lot of my knowledge on it is, like, kind of stuff you've already told me.
Yeah.
Like, I've asked you and you've told me about, so it's kind of like...
Nothing new.
There's not a lot new. The movie is funny. It's good background noise.
It's a comfort film for me. I like to just have it on. Because there's some bits in it that are just fucking hilarious. They aren't meant to be hilarious, but they are hilarious.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny. Like, it's the fact that it's meant to be genuine and, like, yeah.
They did it so seriously, but it's so camp.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's dated as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like.
Oh, also, we did come to the full conclusion. I stand by this now. This is now my personal and honestly correct interpretation of Edward Cullen, which is that he is trans, autistic, and ace. Facts. He is.
He wears dysphoria fits all the time.
He does. He's such a, like, damp looking guy. He's just a bit pathetic and wet. Do you know what I mean?
He is Robert Pattinson.
It's just Robert Pattinson. I know that's just Robert Pattinson. I know that's just what he like. He's like that. He's British. He can't help it. Do you know what I mean?
I keep forgetting that he's British.
I can't. He was in Harry Potter.
Do you remember that stalker that, like, stalked him and, like, wouldn't leave him alone, and then he went, okay, I'll go on a date with you, and then
so unbearable that they left.
Yeah.
Honestly, King.
I
respect him so much.
But close your lips, because I'm going to end the episode.
I understand.
We've had our closing thoughts. Join us next time for...
Probably Star Wars. I feel like it's your turn to show me a media.
That is true. Or Resident Evil?
One or the other.
I would like to talk about Resident Evil, and I'd like to talk about it before we do the Dead by Daylight thing, because they kind of interweave.
I understand. So we might as well do Star Wars first. Wait, no, how much Star Wars is there to get through?
I think it just depends what we, decide to do. I want you to at least watch the first movie, because...
I want to see it. I really do.
It is the Cowboy Adventures in Space.
His moisture farm.
His moisture farm.
Still objectively hilarious to me that that's what he does.
It's a desert planet. There's no water.
I thought he was a garbage boy in the garbage.
No. Rooting around, and then he finds a lightsaber, and that's it.
Kinda. Oh, he found, like, an old man in the rubbish that was like, oh, I'll train you up. I'm waiting for someone to find me. I've been calcified for a few years.
I'm not a fan of, like, the whole Disney, like, including, oh, here's that character that you know and love, and then, like, fan service in that way. But Star Wars is very good at showing how, like, every little character has its own story in the universe that, like, links back to something. And that I think you will love. Like,
I'm excited for that because I enjoy continuity, especially when it comes to characters. Characters are it for me. Characters are always it for me. It has
that's
to
the
be
best thing
about
about Star
guys.
Wars. It's the characters. Anyway, I'm gonna end the episode there. We're gonna end the episode there.
Thank you very much.
We're frickin' back, baby. When are you next free to do this?
I am going for afternoon tea with Marina and George on Tuesday. Ooh. Otherwise, I'm free. I'm taking them out to thank them for cat sitting for 3 days.
Wonderful. Well,
thank you and have a wonderful whatever rest of the time period in front of you is.
Bye.